Every year, it happens again. The temperature starts to rise. People begin planning beach trips. Social media fills with photos of vacations, pools, and sunny afternoons. And for most people, that feels exciting. But not for you. Instead of looking forward to summer, you quietly hope it passes as quickly as possible. You don't understand why sitting in the shade feels better than lying in the sun. Why cloudy days make you feel calmer than bright ones. Or why summer seems to fill everyone else with energy, while it quietly drains yours. After a while, you start wondering if something is wrong with you. Maybe you're just too sensitive. Maybe everyone else knows how to enjoy life in a way you never learned. But psychology tells a very different story. Because for some people, summer isn't relaxing at all. It's one of the most mentally exhausting times of the year. And once you understand why, you may never see yourself the same way again. Maybe it was never about summer. The reason may be much simpler than you think. Most people assume they dislike summer because of the heat. But if that were really the problem, a cooler room, a cold drink, or a few hours in the shade should be enough to make summer enjoyable again. And yet, for many people, it isn't. Because the feeling doesn't disappear. It simply follows them everywhere. To the beach, to the park, to family barbecues, even on days that aren't particularly hot. That's because, for many people, the problem was never just the temperature. It was everything that arrived with it. Summer doesn't simply make the days warmer. It makes them brighter, louder, busier, more social. And for some minds, all of those small changes begin adding up long before anyone else notices. That's why, while everyone around you seems to gain energy, you feel like you're slowly losing yours. And that's exactly where psychology begins to offer an explanation. It was never just the heat. Have you ever noticed that it's almost never the heat itself that makes you want to leave? It's everything that comes before it. You step outside, and before you've even reached your car, the sunlight already feels too bright. The air feels heavy. People are everywhere. Someone is mowing the lawn across the street. Music is playing somewhere you can't even see. Your phone starts buzzing. Someone texts, "We're all getting together later. You should come." And suddenly, before your day has even started, it already feels full. Not because anything terrible happened, because everything happened at once. Most people don't consciously notice moments like these. Their brain filters them out. But for some people, every little thing stays. The brightness, the noise, the conversations, the heat that never seems to leave your skin. Individually, none of those things are a problem. Together, they can leave you feeling exhausted before the day has really begun. Which raises another question. If summer overloads your mind like this, why do so many people seem happier during this season than any other? The pressure you never agreed to. Maybe the most exhausting part of summer has nothing to do with the weather. It's the expectation. For some reason, the moment summer arrives, it feels like life is supposed to happen outside. Friends start making plans weeks in advance. There are beach trips, barbecues, pool parties, and weekend getaways. Suddenly, staying home almost feels like you're doing something wrong, even when staying home is exactly what your mind needs. So you tell yourself, maybe I should go this time. And you do. You spend the afternoon under the sun, talking, laughing, and trying to enjoy yourself just like everyone else. Maybe, for the first hour, you even think, this isn't so bad. But little by little, something starts to change. Without even realizing it, you begin checking the time. You catch yourself wondering how much longer everyone plans to stay. Then your mind drifts somewhere else, to the quiet of your house, your favorite chair, the cool air, and the relief of finally being alone again. It isn't because you don't like the people around you. And it isn't because you aren't having fun. It's because, long before anyone else notices, your mind has already reached its limit. What many people call boredom may actually be mental overload. Your brain never gets a chance to slow down. There's something about summer that most people never notice. The season doesn't just change the weather. It changes the pace of life. The days become longer. People stay out later. Weekends fill up faster. There always seems to be another invitation, another event, Another reason not to stay home. Even when you're not doing any of those things, your brain knows they're happening. You see the photos, the messages, the conversations, and without realizing it, you start comparing your energy to everyone else's. You think, why does going out seem so easy for them? Why do I already feel tired? But your brain isn't comparing experiences. It's comparing limits. Some people can spend an entire day surrounded by noise, heat, and constant activity, and wake up the next morning ready to do it all again. Others need silence before they can think clearly again. They need a slower evening, a familiar place, a chance to let their nervous system settle down. Without that recovery, the exhaustion doesn't disappear. It simply follows you into the next day. And after weeks of living like that, it's easy to believe the problem is your personality, when in reality, it may simply be that your mind has never had enough time to recover. Maybe there was never anything wrong with you. After years of feeling different, it's almost impossible not to ask yourself the same question. Why am I like this? Why does everyone else seem to enjoy something that leaves me completely exhausted? After hearing those questions often enough, it's easy to reach the wrong conclusion. Maybe you're too negative. Maybe you're difficult. Maybe you just don't know how to enjoy life. But psychology paints a very different picture. Researchers have found that people don't experience the same environment in the same way. Differences in sensory processing, emotional regulation, and nervous system sensitivity can make the exact same summer day feel refreshing for one person and mentally exhausting for another. That doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means your brain may simply be responding to the world differently. And that's an important difference. Because when you stop measuring yourself against everyone else's experience, you stop treating your own needs like weaknesses. Maybe you don't need louder places, bigger crowds, or another afternoon in the sun. Maybe what helps you feel like yourself has always been the opposite. A quiet evening, a familiar place, a slower pace. And perhaps the biggest mistake you ever made was believing that living differently meant living incorrectly. It doesn't. Sometimes, it simply means you've been listening to your mind more carefully than most people ever do. So, the next time summer comes around, and you find yourself looking for the nearest shade, or quietly wishing for a cloudy afternoon, try not to ask yourself, "What's wrong with me?" Instead, ask a different question. What is my mind trying to tell me? Because understanding yourself has never been about becoming more like everyone else. It's about recognizing what allows you to feel calm, healthy, and genuinely at peace. Sometimes, the healthiest thing you can do is stop trying to enjoy life the way everyone else does, and start building a life that actually fits the way your mind works. If this video made you feel understood, I'd really like to hear from you. What does summer feel like for you? Let me know in the comments.